I worked for the paper for the next 2 years, getting more and better assignments. By the time I was 19, I was reviewing theatrical events for the paper. This was a lot of fun, although I begged my editor ceaselessly to allow me to cover more substantial news topics. One story I was dying to be assigned to was a piece on the quarrel between Dr. Conan Doyle and Harry Houdini. They had been friends at the time of the conference in London, and now they were bitter enemies. Dr. Conan Doyle was the leading champion of spiritualism, while Houdini remained the most vocal disbeliever. Conan Doyle publicly claimed that Houdini was the psychic who did amazing feats by the means of metaphysics. I pleaded to interview them both for the paper, was told that maybe if they both came to New York at the same time, I could interview them. The other topic I wanted to write about was the one on everyone's mind, the war. The conflict that Mr. Stead was so worried about had erupted. In June, there had been an assassination in the city of Shevaro of a 20-year-old Yugoslavian shot, an Austrian archduke, and the archduchess. Because of this, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia in July. The Russian got into it, siding with Serbia, and France joined them too. Germany came to the aid of its ally, Austria-Hungary. Britain got into it to side with France, and then Japan honored its allies with England, and came on board. It was just as Stead had predicted, a world at war. I read that Arthur Conan Doyle, although 55, joined the Crowborough Company and the 6th Royal Sussex Volunteer Regiment and served as a private. I recalled Amelie M's prediction and wondered if he had signed up to be with his son Kingsley, Conan Doyle, who had joined the British Army. The United States was still not involved in the war, although some political columnists in the paper said that it was only a matter of time until we were. Germany had already accused the United States of sending England war supplies, an accusation that was probably true. This threatened to torpedo any of our ships found in the British waters. Sinking ships was something I didn't even want to think about. How can I cover entertainment when so much is going on? I complained to my editor one evening after filing a partially inspired article about the dogged fashion show in the Madison Square Garden. As I spoke, an assistant came in and dropped a paper on the desk. As I rambled about how silly and boring such events were, my editor ignored me and read the paper. "Would you look at that, Jane?" he said, putting down the typed article so I could see it. "Those Germans are going to force us into the war, one way or another. A naval ship had just picked a man and a woman floating off the coast of Nova Scotia, right in the middle of the ocean without a boat or anything in sight. They think they're spies. And the Germans knew our guys would pick them up. How dumb do they think we are?" He kept talking, but I was no longer listening. My eyes were glued to the photograph accompanied the story. Both the young man and woman were wringing wet. The woman had long, thick, jet black hair. Someone had blackened both the eyes of the young man. "What is it, Jane?" the editor asked, noticing my stunned expression. "You look as if you've seen a ghost." "Maybe," I said quietly, and then I explored into an action, nearly throwing myself across those large desks. "You have to let me go to Nova Scotia and cover this story. You must." "Well," he considered tentatively, "I don't have anyone else I could spare right now, since you're so bent on—" "Thank you," I cried. He handed me a sheet of paper. "All the information is here. See, accounting for some expense money, and you can leave in the morning. I'm leaving right now. Right now, tonight. What is possible?"